going to be, how can I show? Show a fraction. Know how to show a fraction. Some kind of model. So models are great. Pictures, that's really what that's talking about. Some kind of model. We have been making pictures in math the entire time. We did circles and dots. We made arrays. We even used a version of a picture called a bar model. We use it all the time. Same with fractions. We need to be making some kind of model so we can see it. What else can we use to show a fraction, Breda?
So an example would be if I have 1/4.
Yep.
I would take a whole. I would partition it to each amount of groups.
Sure.
And then I could color in. I could color in one of the squares or maybe and that would give you 1/4.
So it sounds like you're making some kind of picture. Yeah. Like a model. Yep. Scarlett?
Remember that we did 1/4 equals that was doing that.
Yeah, so we can use numbers. We can use numbers. There is a special piece that our number has to have, and it's that line. I told you what that line is called, but does anyone remember what that special line is in our fraction? So if we look back to number talk, see we have this line in between our two digits. Adria?
Spot saver?
It's not a spot saver. Nope. No number is going on top of that line, like where the line is. It's a pretty obvious name, so when I say it, you're going to be like, oh yeah, duh. Arwen, you think you remember? It does separate it, but what's that name for it? So that line, if this was a number and a number, that line is called a fraction bar. Yeah, just a fraction bar. That's what that's called. Now we've seen it as a slash too, right? Sometimes we see the fraction bar and it looks like this. When I type it, I usually have to make the slash because it's much harder to stack the numbers. Sometimes the computer will format it for me, but most of the time it's a slash. We're not going to spend a ton of time talking about numbers because we've kind of already talked about them. We know what a fraction looks like when it's written in number form. We can look at this and say, oh yeah, Autumn, that's a fraction. We know that. So we're going to talk about the different models that we're going to see. So we're going to make a subtitle. So go ahead down your page. We're going to make a subtitle. And we're going to start with a circle model. Circle model is our first type of model that we're going to talk about. I will tell you the circle model is my least favorite. It makes me sad. The reason why is because I know that fractions have to be with equal sized pieces, right? I can't have one piece this big and one piece this big. That doesn't make any sense. Please stop doing that. Circle models are very hard to make equal. So for instance, if I was splitting a circle model into fourths, how many pieces would I have? Liliana? Four. So let's draw a circle and let's split it into fourths. I start by splitting in half. And then I start by splitting in half the other way. That way I know my pieces are equal. Can I do fourths like this?
No.
No. Can I do my fourths like this?
No.
No, I cannot. Those pieces are not equal. You cannot do it that way. Can I do them going horizontally like this?
No.
No, it is still unequal. That is not correct, Liam. Please fix it. This is why I don't like circle models. They get very picky. And then as I add more fractional pieces, it gets even trickier. Like, let's pretend I want to make 6. How many total pieces is that? Lucy? 6. To make 6, I'm going to split it in half vertically. I'm not going to split it in half horizontally because that's going to make my pieces uneven. Instead, I'm going to make an X. Now my pieces look equalish. Yeah, circle models are not my favorite because it's very hard to make these pieces equal unless you're doing a half or a fourth. Yeah.
I know
What's that?
put a dot.
Sure. Sure. Definitely. I want you to color in 2 pieces on your fourth model. Shade in 2 pieces on the circle that you drew 1/4. And then I want you to write that fraction next to that model.
1/4.
I can tell you by looking across the room, I colored my pieces differently than how some of you colored your pieces. For instance, me and Azalea's looks different. She colored both of her top pieces, and I colored mine kind of diagonal. Does that mean I have a different fraction?
No. It's the same.
What does that mean? Because Azalea's model and my model does not look the same. She colored both of her top 2 pieces, and I colored diagonal. Ethan, what does that mean?
You just colored both of diagonal, and she colored both of them at the top. It doesn't mean anything. It just means it's gonna have the same amount of pieces because they have equal points in each half.
Yes, they are allowed to look a little different and still be worth the same. They have the same value. Brayden, can you tell me the fraction name for this model we just drew? 2/4. Even if your fraction looks different than mine, your fraction is still 2/4 because you should have colored in 2 pieces out of my 4 pieces that make up my whole. Yes.
It only matters if you have like a bigger circle or a littler circle.
Yeah, when my holes are different, I'm trying to compare. All right, so you should have a fraction model split into 6. I want you to color in 3 of those pieces and then write the fraction that matches that. So you have a piece split into 6. I want you to color in 3 of them, 3 pieces, and then write the fraction that matches. Please don't spend 8,000 years coloring. That is not the goal.
It's just a difficult fraction.
The pieces I colored in might look different than the pieces you colored in. Does that mean we have different fractions?
No.
No. Miranda, what is the fraction that matches my model? 3, 6. 3, 6. You should have that fraction written beside that model. So circle models are okay. I'm okay if you are splitting a pizza and you want to use a circle model because pizzas come in circles. That's fine. But I would prefer your go-to model, not the other one. So that brings us to our next model, which is my favorite.
Square model.
And these are bar models, square models, rectangle models, however you want them. Go ahead and draw just one rectangle model. You can call it a bar model if you want. Go ahead and make your subtitle. Let's do that. Go ahead and make our subtitle bar model. And I just want you to draw one. I know I got a couple on here, but just go ahead and draw one.
So one.
One bar model, please.
One of them. And we're gonna make a four.
Alright, we're going to split, partition, divide, whichever verb you want to use, this first model into fourths. Now, unlike circle models, I can make all vertical cuts and my pieces be equal. I like that. Go ahead and partition one bar model into fourths, just like I have done.
Any way we want to?
Nope, just like I have done, please.
Oh, I just want to do it like an X. You could say that.
So all the pieces,
Together.
no, that's not appropriate. All the pieces are equal size-ish. Cut me a little slack, I'm not the greatest artist. We're used to our bar models looking like this because this is what our normal bar model looks like anyway. Go ahead and draw another rectangle model or bar model. We're still going to partition into fourths, but it's going to look a little different. This time I'm going to make all horizontal cuts. I like to start with my half because I know that a fourth is a half of a half. Some really crazy looking lines, but that will still work. So go ahead and draw your second bar model, and this time we're going to partition it going horizontal. Now I have a question now that we've got some models drawn. How do I know this is split into fourths? Because I only drew 3 lines. How do I know it's not split into thirds? Yeah, I can't just count the lines. I have to actually count each space. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces.
Yeah, is it obvious?
It is obvious to some friends, but I wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page. Alright, let's draw another bar. Draw another bar. We're going to split this bar into fourths again, but we're going to do it in a different way. This time, we're going to split in half vertically. And then I'm going to split in half horizontally by making that cross shape with my cut. So now I have made fourths 3 different ways. Alright, we're going to make one more model. This time, we're not going to make it a rectangle. We're going to make it more of a square shape. And we're going to split this one into fourths as well. Now, I could split it vertically. I could split it horizontally. I could make that cross shape. But fourths are a little unique in the fact that I can make this cut. I can make X's. I can't do this with every denominator, but fourths I can because all my pieces are going to be equal. It's going to be a little more complicated to do it on a rectangle because then my pieces start not being equal. You can shade in whatever amounts that you would like in each of those models and then write the fraction beside it. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Gavin, can you tell me what is the value of this fraction model, my top one?
1/4.
1/4. Very good. Very good. Bailey, can you give me the fraction that matches this model? 2/4. Very good. Where are your glasses?
I left them at my grandma's house.
Not helpful there. Bryce, what's my fraction that matches this model? 2/4. Very good. Lucy, what's my fraction that matches this model? 4/4. My whole thing is filled in, yes? Another name for that fraction is 1 whole, because the whole thing is colored in. All right, we're going to talk about one more model. Go ahead and make a new subtitle. If you need to go to the next page, that's fine. The number line model. And we will spend a lot more time talking about number lines. We're going to just briefly touch on it today. So go ahead and make your new subtitle, number line. And then I want you to draw a blank number line. Pink line to pink line, please. Tracing the very straight blue line that is already printed in your notebook. Where do fractions live on a number line? Where would I find them? Where do they live? Dominic, where do they live?
In the middle.
In the middle of what? Yeah, they're in between our whole numbers. Whole numbers are the numbers that we normally count with. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of those are whole numbers. So we're going to start our first number line at 0. We're going to end this number line at 2. It's a very, very small number line, right? We're only going 0 to 2. There's one more whole number that we need to put on there. What other whole number needs to go on this number line? Bailey? 1. Where is 1 going to go? In the middle. It's a midway point. It goes right in the middle. Great. So far, we only have whole numbers. What if I wanted to put the fraction 1/2? Where would 1/2 go? Think about what 1/2 is. You've seen 1/2. Where would that go? Brayden, what do you think?
So, it's not going to go in the 1 and 2, it's the 2 is higher than the 1.
Sure.
Which 1/2 is going to be less than the 1?
All right, pause. I'm just going to explain that thought one more time. So Brayden said, I know it's not going to be in between the 1 and the 2 because 1/2 is not bigger than 1 whole. If you get half a cookie, that's not bigger than a whole cookie. So our 1/2 is not going to go on this side of our number line. All right, keep going, Brayden.
You're going to, or further, but you're going to make it your best to go halfway in between.
Yeah. Do you hear that language? Halfway. Because you're making 1/2. Yep. We're going to make a midway point between 0 and 1. That is 1/2. Now, this gets a little tricky because it's not that specific point that's 1/2. It's the jump. So I want you to make a jump from 0 to 1/2. That jump right there is worth 1/2. What if I make another one?
Equals 1.
It is 1 whole, but how many halves is that?
2/2.
2 halves. You can write that. Think about that. 2 halves. I can write that. I know what that looks like.
And if we do another
What if we make another hop? How many, think about it and raise your hand, how many jumps have I done? How many 1/2 jumps have I done? Charlotte? 3. So where am I at? 3 halves.
And then 4 halves.
What if I did another one?
4 halves.
4 halves. AKA 2 wholes. We see how sometimes fractions have 2 names? Right? I could call this got 2, or I could call it 4 halves. It's kind of like skip counting. Do you see the skip counting?
Yeah.
1 half, 2 half, 3 half, 4 half. Yeah, you could just keep going. We're just skip counting by smaller chunks now. Instead of doing big chunks like in multiplication where we skip counted by 5s or 10s, now we're skip counting by little bitty chunks. Alright, let's draw one more number line. Let's draw one more number line. This time we're going to label the number line 0 to 1. We're just going to look in between 0 and 1. These are very, very small pieces because it is less than 1. We talked about midway points being important, yes? They're also important for this. So we're going to partition this number line into fourths. I know that my fourths are going to pass a midway point. So I'm going to go ahead and put that midway point on there. I don't know how many fourth jumps it's going to take for me to get there, but I know that my number line should have a midway point. You need a number line. A bigger one than that, sorry. I see it now. Bigger than that. So right now, I have split my number line into 2 parts. Can you see both parts?
Yes.
I need to split it into how many parts, though, if I'm making fourths? Got it? What? No. How many parts do I need if I'm splitting into fourths? Miranda?
4.
I need 4 parts. Right now, I have 1 part here and 1 part here. I'm going to split this first part in half again. Like that. Right now, I have 3 parts. Does that mean I have thirds?
No. Wait, yes. Wait, no. No.
Yes?
No.
No? Are my pieces equal?
No.
So is it a fraction yet?
No.
I just have random lines. I have 1 jump, 2 jumps. I need to make this one into 3 and 4 jumps. So I'm going to split this one in half again. Now, Autumn, do I have those 4 pieces?
Yes.
Your name's not Autumn every time I check. Yes? No. Yes, I do. I have 1 piece from 0 to 1. This whole piece. How much is that piece worth? Not 0 to 1, sorry. 0 to my first tick mark. Ma'am? 1/4. I did 1 jump, and it takes 4 jumps to get to 1/4. What if I did another jump?
2/4.
What if I did another jump?
3/4.
What if I did another jump?
4/4.
Could I keep going?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're stopping here.
We're going to stop at 1 because that's where our number line ends, but we could keep going. We could go 5/4, 6/4. We could do 100/4. We could keep going. We will use number lines a lot. They are not my go-to model, but I understand them. My go-to model is a bar model. You guys probably know that by now. Please don't talk over me, Azalea. You need to know how to use a number line because you're going to see them a lot. If you like them and you know how they work, go for it, use them. So these are all of our fraction models that we're going to be working with.